Hi, welcome to XReality podcast. I'm the host, Dominic Wu, and beside me is my co-host, Christine, and guest co-host, Aditi. Each week, we will have conversations with industry leaders to explore the unexpected connections and opportunities between diverse sectors in the world of spatial AI and XR. Today, our guest is Mark Tan. Hi, Mark. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. First of all, really excited and really grateful for having this platform to, just for like-minded person to talk about things within the metaverse, AR, XR, MR, all of the above, of the just dive into this topic. So, a little bit about myself. I am currently a program manager at one of the big tech firms. And before that, I've worked a series of different jobs, all in tech, but like in different capacity. I was a field application engineer at a drone company. I was the project researcher and validating deals, understanding companies at a venture capitalist. So different capacity, different positions, different companies, but all in tech. I myself had an education in electrical engineering from Purdue University. So yeah, so it fits in. Um, so in terms of my metaverse journey, I started to hear about the concept of the metaverse thing in probably 2020 and 2021. So not any particularly earlier than most of us. I think it was in 2021, Facebook announced their name change and started to bring this whole idea of metaverse into the mainstream, into the spotlight. So how I started, like I've heard of it for a long time, and I kind of talked about it casually at home with my wife and stuff like that. So my wife actually got me a MetaQuest 2 at the end of 2021 for my birthday, which starting 2022, I officially became a Metaverse citizen. And in terms of that journey, I did not just jump in there and just like, I'm gonna start something, start doing something, business related, whatever. I was just putting on my headset and checking things out, playing games,
Well,
Beat
yeah.
Saber.
I was
uh,
just going to ask, what were your favorite games that you
yeah, yeah,
played?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, a couple, right? Really. Beat Saber is definitely one. I mean, I think that is like an all-time favorite. Um, the table tennis one, I think it's called 11 table tennis. It's actually I myself play tennis in like real life, so that actually is pretty accurate representation
Really?
of yeah of how you would compete. And there are some people with math skills on there, and you like don't know their faces or only names, and their ID is small, like you don't know who they are basically. Just like someone just show up at the other end of the table and just start, playing and start beating the crap out of me. Um, so that was fun. And something else I tried was walkabout mini golf.
My
I think,
favorite.
yeah, that game is so great. Like it's so chill. You don't like you can really relax in that game, right? So I just like basically played a series of games. And I came across Meta Horizon Worlds, which is Facebook Meta metaverse app, right? And I just went in there to see what's what, and start by doing a series of world hop, because like there are individual worlds in that whole app. Call it sightseeing, right? Like I
Mhm.
just started sightseeing. So that's where I started, I guess. I mean, I can go on a little bit further, but in terms of who I am and where I started,
Yeah.
that was the story.
Very good. And yeah, and so after your,
looking around at horizons. What gave you the idea for Immersell? Yeah. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So, so first of all, I guess a
How
little
was
bit
that
about,
process? Or maybe go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say maybe also if there's another way I could ask it, did you see an opportunity like earlier in our newscast we were talking about how Roblox people can make creators can make money. What was the opportunity that you saw on Horizons? Do they have the same opportunity there or does VR chat, how is it different than VR chat? Yeah. What did you
right.
just learn in your process? So maybe that's a complicated question, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
just,
that's like
just
the
getting
whole
the
show,
conversation
right?
going there. Yeah.
That's basically the whole show. But yeah, sure. I can try to answer some of
Sure.
it and hopefully try to answer those questions. So I
Yeah.
guess first of all, a little bit about myself again. My entire career has been in the Bay Area. So I've definitely gotten bitten by the, tech startup founder bug
For sure.
that always trying to see if there are any opportunities out there, if there are any interesting things going on and stuff like that. So going back to your question specifically, I just went in Horizon Worlds as one of the many VR apps that I was exploring. But something that immediately caught my eye was I was amazed by how many varieties of worlds people can create and the creativity that went into it. Um, but also after a series of world hops, I realized that how lack of use cases most worlds are. Like it can be the most astonishing, most creative worlds with fun things to do in there as well. Like for example, you can fly as a bee or drive a tank or whatever you have or people made it out to be. But like, what's the point? At some point, I ask myself, why do you have these worlds? Why do you spend that much time creating these worlds, etc.? And and another thing that is about me, so sorry, I'm cutting in and out. Like Horizon World was myself, Horizon World was myself. But another thing about me is I've always been interested in like the retail shopping sector, but especially I always thought irrational shopping, like shopping because of hype, because of engagement, because of fun is always an idea that attracts me compared to shop by necessity, right? So that was the difference between the two shopping. Hope I was able to get that across.
Mark, I'm curious on that.
Yeah,
Like, I think that's a really interesting concept of like shop based on kind of the hype almost. Do you
yeah.
have an example that you can give us?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a good
for
question.
sure. Like a very easy to understand and almost to a point that's mundane example is all the brand stuff, like a Louis Vuitton bag, right? A Supreme t-shirt, right? Is that t-shirt or that bag really the quality, is that good? That you have to spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to buy it? Not necessarily, right? Supreme box logo t-shirt, right? It's literally just a box logo says Supreme on it, and the in the secondary market, it goes for what, like 10x the price, right? Like, why do you buy it? Why do you need it? So there's a lot of status, entertainment, recognition, and FOMO associated with it. So that's where a lot of the value and margin and higher margin would come from. And if you do it right, it will be done in a way that's ethical, that's bringing your customer value. So it's not necessarily just predatory marketing or selling. So, but yeah, in general, that concept really interests me, and I think I always wanted to find an angle in that area to do things. So again, bring that a full loop. Um, I see the metaverse with this many creativity, with this many possibility, like you don't need to worry about, inventory management. You don't need to worry about, hey, how much would that giant statue all the way up into the clouds cost me? It costs the same thing as a chair, as a table, right? With that ability, or the ability to not consider these things, I think there is really a chance to be able to build out something that can invoke that sense of irrational shopping. And I think irrational shopping, like irrational is like a negative word, but it's just shop by hype,
Maybe
shop by
emotion-driven shopping.
engagement.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
By emotion, exactly. So that's where I kind of slowly formed my idea and mindset around Immersell. That's one big reason of it. That's not the only reason, but I'm gonna stop there. Hopefully that answers your question.
Oh, yeah, that's great. I mean, there's a couple things. So I would like to hear, about like storefront design and how is this different than like a traditional e-commerce website?
Right, right.
Yeah, so I think that's a good next place to go. Yeah.
I think so as well. That you
Okay.
practically asked what I really want to talk about next.
Good.
Yeah.
I was
So
like, let me think. Good.
you hit it right, hit the nail right on its head. So I would say a couple of things, right? First of all, another reason why I not only, came up with this idea, but really ran with it, really tried to, dig deep and am here to stay, is because my vision for this is, in terms of the metaverse, right? I think everyone here probably watched, or most of us had probably watched Ready Player One, and are like, that's the future, that's the metaverse, right? But like in reality, we don't actually really know if that will ever come or when that would come. Um, but something that, so I'm not anchoring on that, on that vision, on that, future reality. What I'm anchoring on is the fact that shopping, when you think about shopping, it's always, except for the day-to-day groceries and stuff like that, you absolutely need to live your life. All forms of shopping are moving in a direction of more engagement, more fun, and more colorful ways to tell your brand and product's story. So under that premises, um, a way to be able to help business to tell those stories, to present to their customers in a never before way, and a way that would help business to beat all the larger platforms search algorithm, right? To enable the business to establish their own private community, where within the community you can grow your fan base, you can engage with them, you can sell to them. You basically own your own community's algorithm, if that makes sense. Is always going to be the direction of shopping, like regardless of where metaverse is going to be. Um, so that is a large part of the reason why I'm start digging into this industry and am not going anywhere. Now, to answer your other question, which is what does metaverse storefront design means? Um, I've been at this for 2+ years now. I have some philosophies and ideas, but I wouldn't say I am, the expert or whatever, because it is really a field that is so different from any other things that you have out there today. It is essentially a combination of a few things. It is the understanding of customer psychology, because we are, at the end of the day, still human behind the headset or any other form factors. But also in combination with game design, because now you are actually in a game world where you want to a lot of times guide people to do something without like drawing a huge arrow, in the world. That is like one of the more immersion breaking way of doing things, which you do not want that. With world design and storytelling, these two can be in the same industry or they can be in different industries. Like story design, you can think about, how do you make a movie? How do you, write a book? And the world design is like a lot of aesthetics, a lot of design, but also all these needs to be under the umbrella of fitting into this business itself's narrative, fitting into their brand view, fitting into their products value and stuff like that. So it's really a combination of a few industries that in the past has been operating relatively isolated. Now we are putting it together to form a world that end goal is to help this business to drive sales, drive fan base, drive customer engagement. Hopefully that answers some of the questions.
It made me think of this other question of like what mistakes do you commonly see with someone trying to create a digital I would say a virtual storefront.
Right.
Anything that kind of drives you crazy that people do that
Well,
you're like
I can't there's like one thing immediately jumped out.
Oh, good. Well, then that one.
But I cannot classify that as a mistake because you can literally do whatever you want in there. But let's call it my pet peeve, right?
Okay, yeah.
My pet peeves is like no matter what this business does, and no matter what their business and founder's personality is, when they think about building a business world in any metaverse app, right? The first thing, and usually the only thing they do, is to have four walls and a roof in the metaverse. Like you don't need any of that. And another favorite thing, or favorite, but like worst kind of favorite thing that I see people do is they have a meeting room. Like they literally have a meeting room in the metaverse with like virtual doors that open and close and a meeting table. In Horizon Worlds specifically, your character, your avatar doesn't even sit down, but they have chairs. They have
hover over.
computer screens on their desk. I mean, for certain businesses, if you need to show as a super professional, super serious, super, a business, like there are these kind of business, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that all adds to the vibe. But like, if you are a talk show host, if you are a music artist, if you are, like, why would you have any of those? Right. But like that's people's go-to when they like, and they don't think anything about it.
I feel like that about VR. Yeah. They just want to like copy what's in real life. And it's like, no, this is the opportunity to not copy what's in real life.
And I remember at the very beginning of me doing this, I made a YouTube video roasting H&M. H&M had a metaverse store somewhere. I don't know which platform, but it basically looks like the H&M at my, at the mall down the street. I'm like, dude, you spent how much money on this? And no, please don't. But like, even larger companies with so many creative and marketing person end up making that. Again, not necessarily a mistake, but really not utilizing the metaverse to its potential.
Yeah, what would you tell H&M? Like if they came to you as your client, and they're like, we made a mistake. We don't want to make a digital duplicate. What can we do, Mark?
Wow.
I know.
I have not thought about that. Definitely not what they have today. Literally a four walls and a roof build. I guess this is a good time to talk a little bit about my
Yeah.
my process of working with
Yes.
any client, because
Totally.
I honestly
Exactly.
don't have a good answer for
No,
you,
that's okay. You might have
H&M.
to ask them what their story is, like what's your brand
Exactly,
story? But yeah,
exactly.
go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
So for that particular part, consider me essentially a business, commercial design slash architecture
Mhm.
agency, right? Just like other, interior design agencies and whatnot that are in real life. I will always start by talking to the customer and understand their story and doing their brand research, what they are focusing on. For example, in H&M's case, I think they do want to focus a bit more and attract a bit more of the younger generation. So a lot of the design will be based on what they are trying to achieve, which portion of the customer are they trying to grab. But I will also provide my own recommendation. For example, in the metaverse today, there are two overwhelmingly large, or at least by my observation, this is not like backed by statistics or anything, two overwhelmingly larger portion of the demographics, I guess. One is actually people of around or even older, around my age or even older, who are recognizing there are business potential in the metaverse, and they want to come in here, see what's going on, see what are the opportunities, and see if the metaverse, or these apps, not yet the real metaverse, but see these apps has the potential to for them to, essentially more or less living in it, as in make a living, make friends, and be more convenient in some ways, right? So that's one population. There's another population that's basically kids, right? I mean, if you guys talked about Roblox, you would know that there's an overwhelming amount of kids in Roblox today, or Minecraft, or any of
Mhm.
these similar games, apps, including the ones that's headset dominant, like Horizon Worlds. So yeah, so if you want to have a establishment in the metaverse, then these two groups would most likely, or I would recommend you to design your world and all the vibes and all the activities to be targeting these two groups, instead of other, people who, don't really know what is metaverse or what's the value, and etc. So yeah, there is a lot of conversation. There's a questionnaire I was sent to the customer, and there are some back and forth until I've gotten to a point that I would say that, okay, I understand what you are looking for. Let me start a design and present to you when I'm done as a draft, and we will have even more conversation based off of that. In fact, I was just doing a design for a music artist, for a rapper. I think we done like 5 or 6 iterations of the design, which each one is like completely different from the previous one. Um, because the landscape, the mindset, and what the customer need is changing, is shifting, is getting new ideas, is getting new trigger points and stuff like that. Which so that could happen. Um this is a more complex case, but all of the above kind of informs the end decision. This is also why I don't really
Gotcha.
have an answer for the H&M.
Well,
I
that's
would
good.
love if their marketing people come to me, is like, Mark, let's talk, right? And
Of course.
then I will have a good answer for you.
Well, I kind of have a good, maybe, I don't know if it's an answer or because I know
Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm like, what if they had a music artist playing in the store or something, or a music artist wearing their clothes? Because I know that one of the industries you really like to work with is the entertainment industry. Do you want to talk
Yes.
about why? Like, why do you think the entertainment industry is a good industry for VR commerce?
Absolutely. That is my favorite industry, and I'm actually in the progress of optimizing all my not all as in I don't care about others, but I am optimizing a lot of my business offering, my services, my packages, etc. For this industry. That's how much I like it, right? Like this industry. And the reason for that is because it's really I believe this is going to be one of the first industry that explodes in an immersive setting and going to tell the story of, hey, immersive commerce, VR commerce really works and it makes sense and is here to stay. And the reason why is really actually really straightforward is that um, as a business, as the artists themselves, their music, their merch, etc., as a business, they usually attract fans, audience, and curious people a lot easier than a lot of other industries. Like comparing that to, like, say, a tax service, right? Like, hey, I'm a tax service in the metaverse. By the way, there are a really good friend of mine who is a very celebrated
Really?
accountant. She is in the metaverse. She's operating like crazy. And so that definitely can work. But like when you look at the industry as a whole, right? Would you just randomly stop by, like say you're walking down the street, like IRL, somebody has like a stand on the side of the street and it says tax service. Would you stop? Like, would you stop and look at them and listen to them? Versus there is a music artist, a rapping, singing on the street corner, playing guitar. Would you stop and listen? So that, it's that simple. So first of all, that is easier to attract customers, which means easier results for them and for me, right? If I design a good world with a bunch of good service and functionality for them, it's easier for me to gain traction as well as for them. A second reason is really sort of my I think that first reason is reason enough, but the second reason is sort of my personal preference. Like when you do them right, like when you do right by them, they become your craziest fan. Like they will rave about you whenever they get a chance, and I absolutely love that. Like I need more music artist friends in my life.
I do write
That's-
music. But maybe
There
we'll
you
have to
go.
make
There you
my-
go.
So cool.
Yeah.
but I haven't performed in forever. But I was going to ask, so when someone walks into this artist's world, how can they buy merch? Like how's that set up? So what's the functionality? Some basic
Right.
functionality.
Right.
Yeah.
So you did ask about like pain points, I think, earlier
Yes,
of,
too.
of why
Uh-huh.
metaverse commerce makes sense, etc. I think it's two things. One is a lot of times I've come across so many talented um, artists, designer, or just people who has that artistic bug, right? That can potentially design something that's way better looking than I do. But one thing that they don't have is sort of a purpose, and they know how to realize that purpose. Again, like I said, when I was world hopping, without knowing anything about the app or the people and etc., um, one of my prevailing thought was, what's the point, right? Why are there these worlds? I'm sure some of it are fun, but if you are talking solely about games, there are dedicated games for VR, or even I myself am a PC gamer, right? So I enjoy super realistic graphics and AAA games and stuff like that. Um, why would you play a game in a VR where the graphics is like a lower tier and you probably would get motion sickness, etc. Right? So again, what's the point? So where I really come in, so pain point number one is people know how to build, but they do not know how to build with a purpose or have the build to realize something for them, especially when it comes to sales and marketing and drive engagement. Because people are usually, hey, this might look cool. Hey, that might look nice. Right. But end up, Christine, you are in the
Yes.
game design industry, you
Yes.
know, like the visitor, player or visitor in this case, pathing might be completely messed up, right? They might, like, for example, we are mixing questions now.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I was going to ask
Another
something about
actual
that.
mistake I've
About
seen is
Mhm.
people putting portals to other
Oh,
worlds
interesting. Yeah, that
around
is
the entry
a mistake.
point of
No,
their world. Exactly.
then you
I'm
leave
like,
right
why
away.
would you
Oh,
do that?
forget that. I
Exactly.
don't like how it looks. See ya. That's terrible.
Exactly. Why
Oh,
would
yeah.
you do that? Or people
It's
put
kind of like
something that's
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, people put something that's relevant for their friends, like they are really a fan of their friends, which is super sweet, super amazing, but like right at the beginning, like, do you want to promote your own stuff at all, right? So there are those things that's happening in the world, and I am extremely conscious and extremely on point with those things. So again, design for
Yeah.
a business purpose. So that's one thing. The second thing
Yeah.
you asked, which is touching on what exactly you are asking, like how does commerce actually happen? The
Yes.
second thing actually came by it's not an accident, but I did not know I was gonna develop it at the beginning. So what happens is after I formed this idea, I built a mock shop for nobody, but like imagine it to sell clothes and stuff like that. And I made it look really crazy, look really creative. It has like a runway that's under the world. When you click a button, the runway will come up and supposedly for models to walk on it, whatever. And I even put in randomly because I don't know what brand it is, so it's all whatever, it's
Right.
fun. I even put in the glass bridge in Squid Games. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Like if you choose the wrong block, you will fall down, kind of thing, as a fun little thing to traverse in the world. So I used that, and I was able to use that to present to a a person. Her name is B. Shout out to B Organics. She actually sells hair product in the real world, and she did have an idea of, hey, I should probably build a store in the metaverse. Her store was four walls and a roof, right? So I saw that as an opportunity so I brought her into my world, and she agreed to let me take a leap of faith, basically just go crazy with her world, her brand, and stuff like that. um that that was really fun. That was my first project. I wasn't paid. I was basically just repaying B's leap of faith in me, right? um so the project was successful. The world ended up looking great. We have like her theme is bee, like actual the little insect bee. We have
So
like
cute.
honey rivers, honey waterfalls, and even a bee suit you can put on. You can fly in the air around,
That's
just like
fun.
dialing the brand image to 11. So it was fun. A lot of people liked it, but then I realized, oh crap. This cannot work. Hence the second pain point, which is Horizon Worlds at the time today um, does not support external URL access like in a native way. It does not have any APIs, right? So you cannot really buy or even do leads capturing in the world, right? So at best, no matter how beautifully you have built the world out to be, um, it is actually a very, very localized marketing opportunity. And all the leads, you would rely on the customers to memorize your website URL, take off your headset, go on their phone or computer and it's like, oh, right. And basically nobody will do that, right? So I'm like, crap. Did I just create a dream for myself and it will never come true? Is there a solution? So actually, I did end up finding a solution in the form of email marketing, actually. So now I have built a system. Luckily, it is not breaking any of the community guidelines of Horizon World. So I was really happy about that. Um, um, so in the game, I basically have a system. I developed a system where you basically have shopping carts in the game, and you can add things to cart, and then you can go to a place with a keyboard popping out to check out. And once you punch in your email, an email will be sent to you with the stuff exactly, welcome to, the store or whatever, and with the stuff, exact things you added to your shopping cart. When you click on the payment link, it will take the customer to the business e-commerce website with the item already added to cart. So all you have to do is punch in your credit card and done. So as customers, you won't need to remember anything. You get an email sometime, in the short future of you doing the action in the metaverse, and you get reminded, and you don't have to memorize anything. You get reminded of the whole experience. You get reminded, yes, I made that purchase decision. Or at least was interested in it. And also along with the email is like the any stores, social or other information. And this store owner would also get this person's contact as a part of their lead to nurture and to maintain and to reach back out to. So through this system, you actually have a functional store in the metaverse, and ties that concept with a very well understood email marketing or just marketing concepts in general, and that's why it works.
And is there any benefit for buying something maybe in the virtual world versus going on the website and buying it? What would be a benefit?
Absolutely. So I always, this is this depend there are two things. One thing is the exact item that's available in the metaverse. So as part of the consulting session, I always help the business to come up with a metaverse merchandise selection. So like a lot of times, especially for e-commerce, like and especially for mom and pop store type of stores, they usually have a wide range of selections of stuff, right? And in the metaverse, although you can definitely bring all of them in, but I would usually recommend a few either best-selling or interesting things to start grabbing the customer's attention. Because in the metaverse, you probably already have, especially if you're working with me, you probably have your world very interesting, very colorful, very entertaining. So you sometimes do not want the entirety of your at least one side of your world.
Yeah,
I was about to say wall, but we don't necessarily have walls.
Right. But you don't want a digital clutter either in the
Exactly.
space. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. This is why I say game design.
You're not scrolling through a page on a website to see all the inventory of
exactly.
a company.
And you actually touched on the second point, which I will come back to. So I will help them do that selection, and also I would help them come up with what can be exclusively available in the metaverse. Just like the same thing as, for example, on phone, like maybe like hotels.com or whatever, they have mobile exclusive, right? They have a lot of other, business have mobile exclusives. Same idea. You should have metaverse exclusives, whether it's in the form of discounts. And oh, by the way, this system does help you auto apply discount codes. So there you go. Metaverse exclusive discounts, metaverse exclusive products, or even digital assets that that comes along with a physical product, right? So I would always give them that recommendation to build out the catalog with them if that's what they're looking for. And the second thing is exactly what you said. The benefit of shopping in the metaverse is context, right? On the website, you can only have so much facility and real estate and ways to tell your story, to showcase stuff. The most common way still today to present your things are kind of, in lists. You scroll it down, right? Maybe the previous list or category has nothing to do with the latter category, but they are stuck together, right? And they are just divided by some sort of maybe the smartest dividing in the world, but they are still sort of, aligned effectively. In the metaverse, you can actually have so much more context around a product, a series of product, and have so much fun with it. There are two examples that my favorite examples I would love to give when I talk about this. One is pretend you are selling a zombie-themed NFT for whatever reason. You love zombies. You love brains. And instead of just having an NFT, just sitting on a pedestal, kind of revolving, because that's, essentially all it is, right? You build the store where it will periodically become zombie infested, right? Like zombie will actually exactly, a zombie will actually crawl out and rush in and try to eat you. And as a customer, you will have the opportunity to pick up a weapon, or you can choose not to play, right? You can have the opportunity to pick up a weapon and start killing zombies. And at the end of the infestation, you get on the leaderboard. The top 3 players gets a different level of discount for the NFT. Would you buy that? I would. Right? Would you end up buying it instead of just like checking out and it's like, oh, cool, and leave? I will. There's a higher chance for me to buy it.
You know
Right?
what this feels like is like a lot of stores like Lego. There's the big Lego store in New York. There's the big Hershey store. Like a
Exactly.
lot of
They let
stores.
you play.
Yeah,
They
they let
let you play. Exactly. Now you don't need to have the bank of Lego or Hershey, to have this kind of experience.
Yeah.
Another example is like, say you are a mountaineering company, you sell, hiking gears and stuff like that. What if instead of 4 walls and a roof, you basically your visitors will start out at the bottom of the mountain, and then you have a little climbing game for them. Maybe they are doing it bare hands, or maybe they are using equipments that break, right? Like and like the rope breaks and they fell down a couple of ledges and they need to redo again. And at the top of the mountain, when they finally got there, you don't want to make this super long, by the way, but like, after some process, they got there. At the top of mountain will be like a base camp style, very, very hardcore, very mountaineering trek specific. And you will have a base camp, and there you introduce your pristine equipments for good reasons too. Like, everyone understands that's fake, that's, storytelling, but that kind of thing might just nudge the interest in your customer enough to either buy, which is the best case scenario, or become interested in what you have to offer, which is becoming a lead. And if you look at any type of marketing book, capturing leads or converting people into leads is always the first step of selling. So that's the whole point. Yeah.
I do have this a little bit, I don't know if this is off topic, but I do have
Anything
a
goes.
question. I do have a question because I was talking to someone about this, and he's like very scared to put any of his information in it while in VR. How could you ease someone's fear that like, oh, I'm putting my email and then someone's going to have my information? Like, how could you ease someone's fear
That is,
of using your
yeah.
system?
I mean,
Yeah. for
that
privacy and
that sentiment will always exist,
I think
right?
possibly
That sentiment will always exist, and it's also I mean, I do not have a perfect answer for that. But I would say this: if you are comfortable shopping online today, like putting your information into Amazon, whatever e-commerce website, Shopify, any person's Shopify, if you are comfortable doing that, it's literally the same thing. If you are not comfortable doing that, then give it time, I guess. Those are not the customer base that my customer are attracting, which is fine.
Okay.
There will always be a portion of people who's like that, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask about.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times people have a lot of times people have ad specific emails, like they just use that email for all the shopping needs.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And I'm thinking about one of your goals that's like valuable to you, I know, is that talking about AI, I kind of want to talk about like
let's do it.
I think that
Like,
might
we cannot be
tech and future developments, I would say, is this. And like, and how the metaverse, I think something you've said to me before is that it doesn't conflict with AI. So can you talk about that? And how, like, would AI help the metaverse and how? Yeah. That's a lot of questions, but that topic. Yeah.
I can talk.
I know.
You probably already get that by now, but yeah, I can
It's
definitely talk. A few things, right? And you're absolutely right. One of the reasons why I believe in this business and keeps working on it is because it does not conflict with AI. In fact, AI's advancement will help the development of the metaverse. That's why, because like I do not want to do something that's working against the larger trend. That would be either impossible or really hard, right? So this is why I really like it. But more specifically, what can AI help with metaverse exactly? Well, so many things. That depends on where your vantage point is and what your definition of the metaverse is. If you are going with the broadest metaverse definition, then AI is essentially everywhere. AI should be grabbing information and interpreting them and feeding them into the digital world to keep the digital world in sync and updated with the real world. That is a like 30 or even 60,000 foot view of what AI can do with metaverse. But let's be more specific in terms of my specific work. I see AI in doing a few different things. One is today creating a beautiful 3D world is still quite difficult. Requires expertise, like requires technical expertise in the form of, Blender, Unity, Unreal Plus, right? With AI, even now, but especially into the near future, you will have the ability of creating something, I think from like text to 3D world might be a stretch. Like, yes, you can definitely have text to 3D world, but for design professionals like myself, that might be too simplistic. But regardless, you might be able to do a combination of text, 2D floor plans and visual mood board. You can combine a few different things and have AI understand it and generate a world that's to your specifications in the future, which is a huge deal. One of the most expensive things in my operations today is to having a world built out. Because again, that requires specialties. Even in the Horizon worlds where you have this UI, the world builder, you don't
Mhm.
need any of those skills necessary. But building out a beautiful world is still super time consuming, and there are a lot of tricks within it. That's why there is this quote unquote job title called builders in Horizon Worlds. Like they are a bunch of builders for hire in Horizon Worlds because it is hard. So one day that will simplify that process by a lot. And you can, as a business owner, I can also simplify the project management side of things because you don't need to project manage AI. AI will just do it for you, right? So that's one big factor. The second big factor is customer service. Like yes, now you have a great store, but people might trickle in at some point when the owner's not around, when there isn't any event, people are just curious. Those leads are getting captured by my system today, but they are not, these people are not getting the full experience versus when there is an event, when owner is there, when everyone is like gathering, having a group type of engagement and fun. Um, but in the future, AI owner of the store, right, can help with introducing the product, introducing the world to them, showing them around what's fun, and basically can do maybe 60 to 80% of what a human real owner can do, which is a huge deal, right? Which will literally be the difference of somebody is just like, oh, this is a cool world versus somebody became a lead. So in these two specific areas, I see AI as being able to supercharge my business and all the relevant metaverse businesses.
Yeah. And it sounds from what you're saying too, that like the designer is still really important, the human designer. It's not like
Yes.
AI replaces that. AI might replace executing maybe some of the models or some of the, but it sounds like the designer is really still critical. So that's good news for humans, I think.
For sure. Okay, so let me
And
give you
why? And
another.
why would that be? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me give you an
Based off that.
example,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like today, we have so much text to image capabilities in AI, even text to videos, right? Like Sora or a bunch of others. But there is one thing that is always true. First of all, if you are just like a random person who do text to image, you can still very easily tell that if an image is generated by AI or not, in a few ways. First is understanding intricate lines and shapes. Like if it's a general structure, like a human body, AI will get it right. But if it's like a wrinkle in the skirt, that kind of thing, AI sometimes is like, would draw lines that's similar to that, but also you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. It's for, if you are a non-design profession, like let's start from there. And then if you move on to design profession, I always believe AIs will become a powerful tool for the design professions. Um, those OpenAI Sora generated movies is a testament to that. Those are purely done by AI. But when when you read about the news and stuff like that, you will always see a director. Like so and so director made this movie using AI. They supply the AI with stories, with requirements, with themes, with scenes. Then AI put it together and make it maybe animated and stuff like that to make that movie. So yeah, AI will be a tool. AI can do a lot of, and another analogy is like coding. AI can do a lot of code writing today. But a lot of the times you will still need to tell it what you are trying to solve. You will still need let's just pretend there is a company, which I don't think there still is today, which also shows the limitation of AI. But let's just pretend there is a company where all the mid-junior level engineers are replaced by AI. Again, this is not a reality yet. You still need that system architecture. You still need that CTO type of person to be able to do system integrations of different components, and you be able to logically think, how would these fit in to maybe not on a simply technical viability aspect, but also in a operational business and viability perspective. So you will always have human professions guiding AI, using AI as a tool to do things instead of just having it completely replaced. So yeah, I'm not worried. I'm happy, in fact. Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you seen
Yeah,
like
go. Yeah.
recently there's like the new strawberry from ChatGPT release. What do you think about, like, because when I saw the data, it
You mean
seems
the
like
O? You mean the O?
yeah.
data?
Right
Yeah.
now I'm trying to change my entire ChatGPT to that all
I
one
see.
preview, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the data. It seems like there are a lot of like professionals, right? For example, like a science professional, math professional,
Yeah.
and it's higher than the benchmark, the PhD degree.
Right.
What do you see? Like, I mean, I understand that. Yeah, this is a very powerful tools to help human. For example, like in the previous like XR news, we just mentioned that there a lot of community colleges going to offer AI for blue collar job. So what does that mean? This means that before, for example, a farmer, we have to kind of hands-on, yeah, we have to do like hands-on stuff, and then you see the productivity is very low. So before it's just like need a lot of people to work on a farm, like maybe hire 10 people. But right now, AI for blue collar, that community college offer means that, people work on maintaining, fixing the machine for the farm. So for example, if before you hire 10 people, but now you just hire one person and maintain the entire machine line. So it means that, and you see like for the world, the birth rate is decreasing, right? And the world is getting into the more like an aging population, which means that there will be less and less human. In the future, in Japan, there's a news that saying that right now there was one student in the entire school, something like that. In a lot of Asia kind of schools. So by this chance, for me, I was thinking about, wow, so if you want to get hired, before you need a team of 20 people, and now just like a top 1% experts and with a super powerful machine. And before, when I worked for Meta, my colleague even told me that in the future, probably Meta will be only, it's just a prediction. Meta will be only Mark Zuckerberg and with a super powerful computer, and everybody get laid
That's
off.
it.
So
I'm selling all the stocks.
Yeah, so think about that. I personally think that yes, this is assisting human, but let's say assisting top 3% experts, right? And how about junior? And also,
I
like,
understand what you are saying, but
Yeah.
I want to disagree.
Hmm.
And this is not like an idea by me. I think people like Sam Altman, but also even maybe more anti-free AI like Elon Musk or people like a lot of people said this, and I am in sync with them. So I'm gonna basically bring up this point in my own words, which is think about before cars like is a thing, right? I read it somewhere the other day that in 1900, or maybe I have the years completely wrong, there were so much horse carriages and horse powered, like not engine horse powered, like actual horse powered industries are so dominant in New York City, where I think they are cleaning 160 tons of horse manures every day. That's how much horses are out there.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, you obviously have horse businesses revolving around horses, you know, horse feeder, horse, you know, and you have specialized jobs and people are, you know, in that industry. And then I think just 12 years later, 1912 maybe, again, the year might be completely wrong, the last horse carriage has ran its course and then parked somewhere, and the horse is free to go, you know, do whatever. And that ended because now there are cars. At that short 12 years, or maybe a couple years after 1912, then yeah, people are like, oh shit, we're out of job. You know, people who knows mechanical engineering, who knows how to fix an engine now is the shit, you know, is the thing. People will figure out a way. It's not the amount of job that is decreasing. It's the type of job is changing, right? So, and that has happened so many times with each and every technology revolution in the past and industry revolution in the past. So, A, people will find a way, and B, yes, they will require new skills, and as we always do. Just a couple of years ago, I remember when I was in school, people are saying that, hey, maybe one day you will have to know how to use computer to have a job, right? You know, like I think we have, you know, we are about the same generation. We have all heard that saying, and today is true. Do you see less people having work like on a meta scale? Probably not. People will learn, people will find a way, new jobs will get created.
Yeah, and for me, recently I listened to some like talks or like podcast. It seems like there will be a lot of investors are very excited about you know, the releasing of a lot of people. They are pretty much, for example, like they left big companies and they start their startups. Sam Altman even mentioned on one of his podcasts that there will be a lot of, like his team predict, there will be a lot of like a unicorn company under the like under 3 people. So, and he even boldly predicted that maybe one person with tons of AI can create a different company and very niche to bridge the gap. And for me, I think, yeah, you see, like even though we had a lot of job kind of like being automated, but if you see other industries such as education, right, such as healthcare, and also like a lot of big problems that we currently couldn't solve, such as climate change, right, like a lot of like problems currently we couldn't solve, and some people even said that quantum computer maybe can solve a lot of like advanced now stuff problems
Right.
that we couldn't solve. And I do think that, for example, like right now there are a lot of wars, right? And I was like, why you are, I don't know why you guys like hate each other, but there might be a way for things to tone down and to solve. Yeah, what do you think? Maybe it's not like we care about whatever job currently we have, but it's the job, or it's you become an individual and you work with AI and create a niche product. Yeah.
That is a very complicated question, and I certainly don't have a good answer that or answer that's any better than all the industry thought leaders that has already provided. I'm gonna say two things. One is something that when you were mentioning wars, something funny that came to my mind. Maybe one day it would just be like, the UN has like an AI platform. You enter what your troops are made of, and in an AI battlefield, they will battle it out, and whoever wins, wins. So there are no actual human life losses and stuff like that. I don't
I
think
think
that would
that's
ever
great.
happen,
That's
but that
great.
was
That's
like a
great. Nobody
funny,
hurts.
fun
Yeah.
thought. Another thing is quote I will quote a book that I have recently finished reading. And this book was quoting someone else. So the book is Matthew Ball's The Metaverse. By the way, shout out to Matthew. This book is extremely valuable if you are anywhere near Metaverse or Metaverse curious. It has so much gold. And he was quoting Steve Jobs at the end of his book. Steve Jobs was getting asked how he would predict, iPhone future to be. And Steve Jobs' reply was, at this point, so much amazing things are happening and are exceeding and I'm paraphrasing, it's not his exact words, and are exceeding our wildest imaginations or even in the directions that we didn't think it would work. So now we are reduced to mere spectators, just like you guys are. That's my response, right? Like, I don't have any smart predictions more than anything else. I'm just a spectator and trying to use AI to my life, my day-to-day life, and my business's advantage. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I just want to be respectful of time because we did go over our planned time, but can I ask one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Before we wrap up? Yeah, I would like to know, do you think the metaverse is just about bulky headsets and that we're just going to be isolated? Or is the metaverse more than just that?
100% not. 100% not. Headset will, well, first of all, bulky headset is a thing that will eventually go away. It might be some sort of headset that's just like, the glasses on our face right now, or something that's inconspicuous, that's convenient and stuff like that. But I do believe that headset or some form of headset will be one main platform or one main factor that people use to access the metaverse or immersive worlds. But actually, when you think about almost all the 2D form factors we have today, phones, computers, tablets, and stuff like that, they are getting so much upgrades that they are absolutely capable of playing intricate 3D games and have 3D renderings of such, which means and people are getting very used to it, and that's the key point, right? It's not only the abilities but also people are actually using it every day to do these things. Roblox on phone, Fortnite on phone, PUBG on phone. Yes, I'm mentioning all games, but they are the 3D rendering capability of a beautiful world on these devices, or even on web pages. With WebGL enabled, a website can be your access point to a 3D immersive world, such as Decentraland has that ability, right? So immersive worlds, immersive stores does not only exist in headsets, it exists in all the common form factors today, and that's what it makes it powerful. If something that can only be available in the headset, that is in general not a good business bet, but luckily Metaverse is not that, right?
Yeah, it makes me think of, yeah, thank you. It does make me think of mixed reality too. Do you think mixed reality plays a role in this virtual shopping?
Oh yeah,
idea?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because at the end, like today, there are a few, with the infrastructure and technology we have today, there are product categories that's more suitable to be in the metaverse versus less. Definitely definitely anything is possible, but there is a sort of sliding scale. For example, digital products, things that you don't really need to feel or taste or even like see how it looks on you and size and, small details are definitely more suitable to be in the metaverse today. However, in the future, I think it's really combining the best of two worlds. If you have, for example, a clothing brand that or a furniture brand, especially, like you really need to sit in the sofa to feel like if you can relax or not and stuff like that. It might very well become a mixed reality experience. You walk into the store, you can feel the physical goods, you can sit in it, you can try it on, but you also, maybe with a click of your button on your glasses or something, you are transported, or there's a zone that's dedicated to XR experience, and you kind of do smart store design to kind of people have to walk through that zone. Then you are transported to a storytelling environment with interactive games and stuff like that to make you become a fan of the store. Again, all combining both to make you easier to buy. I think that is absolutely a trend, and it could be a reality.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing is there anything else you want? I'd like you to let people know where they can find you, both in Meta Horizons and then on the internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For on the internet in general, my company's website is www.immersell, immersive and sell put together, immersell.co. And my ID throughout the internet is Marksverse, because I want to have my universe, Marksverse_Immersell. Find me on Instagram. That's where I post a lot of stuff. And yeah, just come chat with me if you are even remotely interested or want to roast me, or even, come chat with me. I'm here to stay, and I'm here to grow with all businesses, IRL and in the metaverse. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I did like your store. And did you say that that's in not Horizons? I do like you have an explanation about what your vision is for this in Horizons. How can people
I do. And look, I can talk about this.
Sorry, I was like, how can people see that? Because I am like, how can people see that world?
Yeah, so I have a headquarters in the Meta Horizon worlds. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, they just go into Meta Horizon Worlds. If you have an account in Horizon Worlds and search for Immersell headquarters, then there's that world. It is not. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I can tell you it is not four walls and a roof.
That's right.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Yeah, you might, or Dom, do you want to ask anything before?
Oh yeah, I think I'm good, and I learned a
Thank
lot,
you.
like at the pop store, how to create like a pop store, and the interesting, like your perspective about the metaverse and how creator need to be like having like a business mindset. And I think those are like a great experience for our audience. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. We release episodes weekly. If you enjoy this conversation, check out our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Support us by giving us a follow or a 5-star rating, or subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. Thank you, and see you next time.
Thank you.